Welcome to the Bob Network. Today we're going to talk about automobile design failures. Sir William Lyons of Jaguar is the quote on this title page that it doesn't cost any more to make something pretty. He proved his point by producing the E-Type Jaguar, or the XKE as most people in the United States call it. But let's go on and talk about those cars that didn't look so pretty, starting with the Audi TT first generation. This car looks like something, but doesn't resemble a sports car to my eye. You've got these tacked on big headlights, which, by the way, a recurring theme is I don't like big headlights. Cars in the 20s used to have the radiators sitting out in front, and over time they hid it behind a grille and designed much more attractive cars. I feel the same way about headlights. They're a necessary evil, but they don't have to be the predominant feature on a car. On this car, the headlights and the tail lights both look like they're just an afterthought, like they got them out of the J.C. Whitney catalog. And for those of you too young to remember that, go ahead and Google it. This car, again, was such a poor design that it got recalled for bad aerodynamics, and they had to add the little lip spoiler on it because at high speed it became unstable. So that proves my point. This is not a shape for a sports car. This is the Audi R8, which proves that they know how to design an attractive automobile. So why did they miss so badly on the first generation TT? Here's the second generation TT, which looks more like an R8 than the first generation, but it doesn't look enough like an R8 to be successful. So we'll list this as one of our failures. Again, they did a little better with the headlights and the taillights, but they still got this enormous grille on it. And sorry, I don't see these driving down the street and run out the front door to take a closer look. Pictured here are Toyota's Triumphs, the second generation MR2, the Supra. I didn't use the latest Supra or the most popular Supra from the 90s. I like the wedge shape. The Lexus SC 300 and 400, which to me are just timeless designs. So Toyota knows how to put great cars on the road. But then they introduced this, the Lexus SC430. Started out in 2001. None of these dimensions match up. Again, we've got oversized headlights, goofy greenhouse. I mean, it looks like somebody decided to chop the car like they used to do in the old days, but nothing matches up here. And according to sources, it's not a great car to drive either. Just a complete failure. This is a 1999 BMW Z8, and I would compare this car to the Jaguar E-Type as one of the most beautiful designs ever. So BMW did a fantastic job on that. And they did a fantastic job on the 6 and 8 series throughout the years. I mean, they were graceful designs. It really came together. Love to see them. And then there was the M1. To me, one of the most fantastic looking sports cars ever designed. And then we got this, the Z3. I don't know what to say besides the nothing goes together here. It's just an unattractive car. The coupe was known as the clown shoe in Germany. I think the coupe looks a little better, but that's like saying the most attractive pig in the stall. They tried to do something different on the Z4. They gave it the famous bangle butt, and then they had these body lines going every which way. Again, sorry, BMW, you messed up. Pictured here is the Bentley Continental, which ran from 1952 through 55 in this design. And so take yourself back to 1952. This was a very forward-looking design for that time. And even though it's a large car, heavy, they always had high-performing engines and handled fairly well. And again, they always had designs that were looking to the future. Here are some photos of the 2003 Bentley Continental. which resembles the 1952 Bentley Continental. So make me understand why you would pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for a huge, overweight, bloated car that looks like a 50-year-old car. Nope, sorry, not registering with me. Speaking of Bentleys, some people thought that this looked like one. I disagree. I will give this car credit. It was built on a Mercedes platform when Daimler and Chrysler merged, and it's a good handling car. The engine performs very well, but I'm sorry, it just doesn't do much for me, especially since the cars that preceded it were the LH cars, the LHS, the 300M, Dodge Intrepid, and the Eagle Vision. I mean, these were nice aerodynamic full-size sedans. I think they pulled it off much better than GM did with the big Impalas that looked like whales. These cars did have kind of anemic V6s, so their drivetrains weren't as substantial as the Hemis that became so popular, but they looked like the future instead of trying to copy some big bloated automobile from the past. Here's the Chrysler 300 of that era, much more attractive to me than the latest Chrysler 300, which again, there you go. This is a Dodge Charger. What a gorgeous design. What a timeless design. This shouldn't be a Dodge Charger. Again, the twin to the Chrysler 300. I don't really see anything about this that makes me want to run out and buy one. Here's a Honda S800. This shows us that Honda knew how to produce attractive sports cars as far back as the 60s. Honda also provided us with the Del Sol, the Acura NSX, the S2000. So we know that they have designers that can put together attractive cars. The 1978 Honda Accord and Civic were two of the cars that helped popularize Honda in the United States. They were good sellers, they were well-built cars, and for small, compact cars, they were fairly attractive, straightforward designs. And then they decided they would introduce a sports car. This is the original Prelude. I don't know what about it screams sporty. I think the Accord and Civic were much better looking cars, and this was just a mess. And then we went through the other generations, and yes, it improved in looks, but it was still this notchback coupe. The Accord had a fastback, much more aerodynamic looking design. And when they finally did introduce the fastback on the Prelude, it looked like something that Oldsmobile and Saturn collaborated on. And then they came out with the 97, went back to the notchback look, tacked on some huge headlights, and sorry, folks, it just did not come together. These are the original SUVs, even before they called them SUVs. Ford Bronco, International Scout, Chevrolet Blazer, the GMC Jimmy was a twin to that, and of course the Jeep CJ, which morphed into the Wrangler. And notice all of these had removable tops, as all SUVs should. It should be a federal law. Here's the Land Rover Defender, the original version of it, which you cannot see in these photos, but it also had a removable top. And here's the new Defender. For some reason, on these new SUVs, they decided that it had to have this enormously thick pillar in the rear window. I don't see that on the old models. And of course, the new model does not have a removable roof, so it therefore loses several points and should be eliminated. Toyota did the same thing with the FJ40 and the FJ Cruiser. The FJ40 was pretty much a Jeep twin. You could take the top off. It didn't have that big old pillar, but by gosh, the FJ Cruiser had it. And I don't know why Toyota just didn't bring back the FJ40 use the same dimensions, similar body style. The Jeep Wrangler looks the same as a Jeep CJ. I think they could have pulled this off much better than they did. So let's go back to 1957. The Chrysler tagline in 1957 was, "Suddenly it's 1960." So these cars were lower and wider and more aerodynamic than all the fat pig cars of the 50s. Ford and Mercury also updated their designs to be sleeker automobiles. And then there was General Motors. Sorry, fellas, I know everybody loves a 57 Chevy, but it was the big, bloated, overweight yacht that was the same as a 56 Chevy or a 55 Chevy or a 53 Chevy for that matter. They had a wonderful powertrain and that helped its popularity, but the design was behind the times. In fact, the 58 is similar to the 57, minor changes, and until 1959, Chevrolet didn't adopt the design features that Chrysler and Ford had in 57. So I would love to hear your comments below on your favorite designs that were failures and anything that you may have as far as criticism of my choices. I'd love to discuss them with you. Thanks for watching.